The following podcast may contain spoilers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan Kinney, and I'm here with a new podcast called Reading the Path of the Heavens. I'm here with my three friends and roommates.
Hello, everyone. My name is Bill Gurmail.
And I am Richard Curtis Smith, aka the Korean web novel master.
I'm Seth Thompson. I don't know what this is.
Richard, Bill, and I have been reading web novels translated from Asian cultures. They're written in a very different style than Western novels.
Definitely.
And their main characters express values that Western novels honestly just aren't allowed to a lot of the time. It's fun to have some characters that just kill people.
Yeah, oh no, it's fun to have truly shameless characters.
It's fun to read, a novel from the viewpoint of a villain, and there's no, redemption story behind it or anything. This is just what they do. And that's really cathartic. You know?
Yes.
Bad people being bad people.
Yeah.
And then your hero, who's not really a good person, but, you love him.
Yeah.
He is the main character. You're supposed to love the main character.
He will be better than all other not named characters in his world.
But I've been reading mostly Chinese novels for the past 2 years. Starting with Coiling Dragon by I Eat Tomatoes. Which I'm sure sounds a lot cooler in Chinese. And to this day, I'm reading just tons of novels. I finished Coiling Dragon because the translation's finished. I have read some Korean novels, notably Legendary Moonlight Sculptor, Dungeon Defense.
So good.
All novels that we will almost certainly be covering at some point. Tonight, we're going to be talking about a novel called Tales of Demons and Gods. It's a novel that I like to call a reincarnation story. It is about a kid named Nie Li. And in Nie Li's life, he escaped a great tragedy. His entire village was destroyed, but in its destruction and in its fleeing, he met the love of his life. And also an incredible treasure. And this treasure let him unlock incredible knowledge that he shouldn't have been able to have.
A village sounds like a small price to pay for this.
I mean, it was like...
Oh, no.
When I say village, it was more like...
This entire, civilization just gone.
Yeah,
it's like a walled city with no contact with anyone.
This ultimate, demon lord dude that is his real problem. Not like the fake demon lord, the real, several degrees higher than everything that he has to deal with.
Yeah, he finds out that, the world he lives in is not as big as it gets, and, he goes bigger, and he basically fights the big bad of the universe.
Oh.
And he loses. Not because he couldn't win the fight, but because the big bad had 6 friends that basically took out all of his energy so that he wasn't able to fight.
Just die of exhaustion because you're by yourself.
That seems like some bullshit.
Yeah, it basically is. So in the beginning of the story, Nie Li dies. And the next thing he knows, he wakes up in his 13-year-old self.
Oh.
Like before any cultivation happened, and
in the prime of his life, the potential, the highest point of his potential.
Now, before we go any further...
Wait, hold on. The moment he started school.
Yes.
Okay. I was going to say, before we go any further, explain to me what cultivation is.
Okay.
Cultivation is basically the primary component of the novels I like to read, a genre called genre, which literally translates the genre is immortal, the ja is heroes. So it's a genre of people striving to strengthen their bodies and or souls to a point at which they become immortal.
Okay.
In a lot of these novels, that's just really the beginning point.
That sounds very much like an ending point.
It does, but it's always the beginning in these novels, and that's what I love about this. It's always about growth.
There's realms of cultivation. Usually, I guess if we're going to break it down in tropes, there's power levels.
Sure.
Like, the levels of power from TV show level 1, level 2, level 3, level 3 being like a planet buster.
Yeah.
Where like you get to level 1 and then there's a new world or a new realm of cultivation where everything before you that was unstoppable to you is nothing.
Or basically, you get powerful enough to fight for a treasure that's rare enough that the people that are strong enough to actually threaten you also care about that treasure.
Oh, okay.
So you suddenly you're just doing your thing. You're like, oh, I found this treasure map. I go to find this treasure, and suddenly this guy that's been sitting in a basement for 100,000 years, focusing on perfecting one martial art, wakes up and is like, oh, it's time to go collect my treasure.
Oh, I see. So, okay. So, essentially, it is the quest to get stronger and then get to where you're just a weakling and can become stronger again?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, this is literally the origin story of a god, is how I like to think about the genre.
Okay.
Like, when you go to those stories where the characters meet the Deus Ex Machina 75% of the way through the story, and it's just this impossibly powerful figure that can't interfere because it would trigger an imbalance in the universe or some shit, like that kind of thing. It's that guy's story.
Okay. That sounds actually fascinating.
Now, the fun thing about Tales of Demons and Gods, typically in genre stories, the main character would have an elderly figure who would teach him certain like training techniques or ways or like how to handle themselves out in the world.
It could be a spirit that was trapped in a ring, or like an animal that has like inherited memories from like a realm that's like 2 levels higher than he's in.
It could actually be an expert from a higher realm.
Peerless expert that came down to just bless you with all this knowledge.
Or got cursed
Some dude that
down.
just showed up to help?
Yeah.
But I mean, there's all sorts of reasons. Like, I mean, that's obviously the prerogative of the author.
But here's the beauty of our main character from Tales of Demons and Gods.
Good old Neely.
He is the peerless expert. He has more knowledge than everyone. He knows everything there is to know.
He even knows the future.
The future. He knows how things are going to play out. And he just abuses it.
But through what means? Why does he know
Because
the future?
he was
He's
the
already
last
lived it.
person
He
to die.
He literally lived his entire previous life and woke up in his own life.
So even when he makes changes to things, they still...
Well, no, it starts to affect the future as he starts making changes, but he knows like events are going to happen, or like who's going to betray who, or like he remembers in the defense of their city who actually fought for their city.
So
and
who
was the
deserves your respect? Who deserves to get help?
So he'll be going through a thing, and he's like really impressed. In his earlier life, he was trash.
Oh,
so like no one
utter
cared about
garbage. He went with the wrong cultivation when he first started out. He didn't know what to do. He didn't work very hard. All these bad things.
Yeah, the only reason he was able to advance was because he found this super amazing treasure.
After everything was gone.
Like in the rubble of his city?
After the woman that he fell in love with, that was like totally, like she was like
way better than him.
The city lord's daughter.
Yeah. And she kept him alive. He sucked so bad. He sucked so bad. He lost everything he cared about. That's how bad he sucked at first. So
and then he basically rose to be the strongest being who wasn't the big bad in the entire universe. And then died and became his 13-year-old self. So he knows all these cultivations. Like the book, the treasure that we're talking about is a book that just contains this lost knowledge. And like you get to teleport it into this realm of just like this basically library of lost cultivation methods and all these things. And he spent like time dilated like thousands of years in this library, just like learning all this arcane and amazing knowledge that he should not know.
So he essentially gets a book that is cheat codes. Here's all the things.
Yeah,
here's all the
basically.
things that you need to know.
And then
because
but he was already wasted his potential because like he had already spent the young part of your life where most of your cultivation potential is training in the wrong things. It was already too late for him to really strive to new heights. So this is a reset for him.
So when he comes back as a 13-year-old, does he still have the book?
He doesn't have the book, but he still has all the knowledge.
He has a page of it when he comes back.
He has one page.
And his goal is to both collect all the pages of his treasure and save the people who he wants to save, the people who deserve to save, and build his group so he can take on the final thing.
Pre-build of the survivors,
but
like make survivors. That's
the
really...
problem is, like, the coolest part is the background, his mindset on things that to everyone would be terrifying, that are just dwarf his potential at the level, but to him they're nothing because he knows what actual danger looks like. So the way he perceives and deals with problems is really, really, really fun.
He's like the best martial artist because he understands perfectly how his body works. Like, he basically trained to a level where his mind was capable of understanding things that normal people can't understand. Because martial arts cultivation in genre novels doesn't only train your body, it trains your soul.
And your insights.
And those things stick even when your body changes.
Yeah, because that's all just knowledge. So he remembers that.
This is a fun vocabulary word to add to this so you understand things later.
Vocabulary.
Other stuff. Tao.
Oh man, vocab word for the day.
Tao is very important. Understanding the intent in words and things in the Tao stuff is incredibly important.
What is Tao?
The Tao, coming from like the Tao of Taoism.
Yeah.
It is usually translated as the way or road, like a path you would travel towards something. So in lots of books, there is, like, for instance, a Tao of alchemy. And the farther you tread in the Tao of alchemy, the better pills you could make, or the more plants you could be aware of or graft together, or et cetera, et cetera. Or the more you would understand, or you could make a pill out of nothing.
Because you just understand alchemy that well. Your path has taken you to creation from nothing.
So in terms of a thing that I do get, so in D&D terms, it's like going up to a certain level and like retaining all of the things from that level and being reset to like level 1, and
It'd
you
be
can
like
gain
if
more
you
things.
made like a level 40 character and then kept all your class features but reset to level 1.
Okay. That sounds insane.
It is
insane.
And that's the funny part, because he spends basically the first part of the book trying to rewrite history so that his city doesn't get destroyed. And he does it by just making fun of all the people that screwed over the city. And they're trying to ingratiate themselves to him because he's this amazing figure. But he knows they're pieces of shit because he knows what they actually did. And then there's people who don't do anything, and he'll just walk up and give them a bunch of shit.
He makes whole sections of the city that were failing awesome again with just knowledge and understanding, and he makes people who were doomed to suck but were going to sacrifice their lives to their good people, makes them awesome.
Yeah, because they were willing to sacrifice their lives.
Because they earned it in the past life.
So Seth, if you had a level 1 investigator who had all the skill points of a level 40 investigator.
Oh.
Yeah, no, it's pretty dumb.
But it's quite good.
I'm just going to give you an example of one of his exploits. It's very early on. It's honestly in a sense his beginning, because one of the themes of genre novels is that people that start in wealthy backgrounds have access to better resources. And a lot of times eating herbs or fruits with a lot of spiritual ki or natural ki or whatever it happens to be for the story will strengthen your cultivation or let you advance in leaps and bounds. I mean, it varies from story to story.
Okay.
Delicious medicines.
But so he's like a grandmaster of alchemy because he was in his past life.
Yeah, he did that.
Yeah. So there's this herb that no one has discovered any alchemical uses for.
Worthless. A weed. Trash.
It's basically a weed that is in this great amount. It gets gathered and just burned away. So he goes ahead and pools together all this money that he can borrow and earn and get from all the resources he can get. And he goes and buys all of this grass that he can find. He literally buys all of it that exists, and it's super cheap because it's literally a weed. People are basically giving
surprised
it away.
you're buying it.
Yeah.
What do you need this for?
Yeah.
And then he releases an anonymous letter to the Alchemist Association listing 99 alchemical uses for the herb, which is now basically not existent.
Yeah. All in his storehouses.
So then the price for it rockets up, and like they go and they have their own. They're the Alchemist Association, so of course they have some, and they go and they verify every single one of the uses.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! We made a medicine that helps with the soul growth for cheap, and we can just help all the young people now.
No, you can only help some of them because I've got all of it.
No, so he sells it.
Yeah.
He just creates this incredible commodity and sells it, and then he has all this money, and no one knows he has money. And then he goes and becomes an alchemist, and like tells them that he has this secret master from outside the city,
A peerless expert, and they don't want to scare him away at all.
So they treat Neely really, really nicely, and like protect his family, and give him a bunch of the pills that are doing.
Oh, yeah.
Also, that he'll give them like the pill formation, like recipes.
Also, please take note of this one situation, the one of someone stockpiling an herb and selling it for a bajillion D because they know about the future.
Yeah, that'll come up on a quiz later.
Yeah.
Noted. Scribbity, scrabbity, scribbity,
I
scrabbity,
just
scrap.
also love the fact that like Nia Lee is such an interesting character in that he's incredible, but he still has the downside of knowing stuff about the future. Like, for example, he knows who the love of his life will be. So even though he's creating
make it
these
easier
new
on the second
situations,
side.
not really. Because even though he knows the situations, his interactions and relationships with people are kind of strained by how straightforward and overly comfortable he is with people now.
Because he already knows.
Because he already knows them, but they don't know him.
He's already watched them die.
Yeah. So, like, he doesn't want them. You know, when you see the love of your life, you watched her die, and now you're back and you see her again.
Might hurt
So
a
he
little.
basically goes around and finding the people he likes and giving them like divine cultivation methods and like things that they just shouldn't be able to have, and they all start advancing by leaps and bounds, like geniuses of generations.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's basically a story about a guy getting a redo on his life and doing it in the coolest, best, stylish way possible. Because like the story goes between him like basically making fun of everyone, because like these are like elders and they're basically children to him. Like like these people haven't even reached like the beginning of real cultivation.
He's just so much more powerful than them.
Like he's not physically.
No, physically, he's nothing. He could be crushed like an ant to these people. But because he understands, he can put stuff in perspective of how weak they are, even though they're titans here, they're nothing. Well, you can't even protect your city. Like, it's...
One of my favorite parts about Neely is, since he is the intelligence elder kind of character, he has the knowledge. So, you know, he did the alchemy thing, but he also does the other intelligence-based thing that other main characters typically neglect. Formations. He ends up setting up a fantastic formation for his city, because that's how he figures is the best way to protect it.
Yeah, like he just makes the city defenses better. He like trains people, and he does this all on the slide. Like he doesn't like actively go and do this. He just manipulates the people around him to make them realize that this is the thing they need to do, and then he steps in and like does the thing in the best way.
Also, he's super shameless, so he'll do these amazing things that's good for everyone, but he'll troll people. Like... And because he's so important, the people want to kill him, but they can't.
Like,
and it's actually hilarious.
Give me an example of him trolling a person.
Let's see.
All right, when he starts, this is going to be like just from the very beginning.
Okay.
He wakes up and he's in his class, and the teacher that's in front of him is from the family that was basically the main betrayers of his city.
Okay. So immediately, fuck you, guy.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. In terms of the level of classroom that the level of class that he was in, like he hasn't even like gone like this is the class where they pick which route of like would you go to the genius class or you go to the class that trains and goes to the army or like goes back and farms at their village.
Oh yeah, that's a cool classification, by the way. You can cultivate your spirit or you can only cultivate your body, and if your body, you basically suck.
Yeah, no matter how strong you are, you just suck.
Even if you're like a black gold in the body, you'll lose to like a silver spirit guy. Like, it's...
Yeah, the spirits, like basically they're demonic beasts. The basic cultivation system for this world is they're demonic spirits And when you kill demonic beast, it leaves behind a demonic spirit which you can capture, and then these spirit cultivators can basically take those, and they take either the form or like the powers of these spirit beasts.
They persona, except instead of summoning the persona, you henshin.
Yeah, so like some people have like
Translators know henshin means transform.
Yeah.
Kikaku means play.
Also, there are like different grades. So like you can have trash G grade garbage, or you can have like class triple S. Like
This black coat tiger.
Like, keep in mind these
I
people.
got this phoenix.
This is like a degrading system, like history of people. Like these people have so many gaps in their knowledge. Like he comes in, and not only are they like, they don't even like, they think there's like these are the best cultivation systems, but it's like no, these are just the cultivation systems. Like the best cultivation systems we have work with this type of spirit. You guys just don't understand that there are better cultivation systems for this kind of thing. So like he finds out what he is and gives himself the best possible cultivation thing. Whereas like people assume that he has like a red soul and like that means that he's garbage.
No.
But it doesn't. It just means that they don't have anything that's good for him. But
Like-
anyway, an example of the trolling. Sorry.
yeah.
We kind of got away from that. He's in his classroom. The teacher is a like high level teacher that should not be here. She's too noble to be here. But there's like one of the students in the class is like a little kid from her family and like might be a genius. So she goes in there to go basically teach him.
Okay.
But she's doing stuff on the board and it's just shit.
It's just wrong.
Like, first of all, she's stealing it. Like, it's her family's thing, and they said it's their own thing, but they're actually stealing it from another thing. And they're like, that's bullshit. And he's like, no, it's in this book on this page.
They go to the library.
By the way,
They find
also,
it.
you're writing it wrong, too, by the way. Not only did you steal it, you're writing it wrong, and you're teaching it wrong. And this is why.
Yikes.
And then, like, basically just, like, shames this bitch in front of the
So
class.
bad.
Like, terribly.
she never regains face.
Yeah, like,
By the way,
this
she
is not
just,
recovered.
like, quits.
Never recovers.
They make a bet. And it's like, look, if you, with your shitty red soul, can train to the basic level of cultivation in the next month, and he's got, like, he needs to get to 100, he's got, like, 5.
Sure. He's got a lot
And,
to
like,
go.
it usually takes people, like a month to, like, advance by, like, a little.
Okay.
Like 5 or 10 at most.
You don't need to think about it. He obviously crushes it. Like,
Yeah,
this
he
dude
becomes,
is
like,
insane.
he needs 100, he gets to, like, 1,500. Like,
Oh, I see.
He's a silver rank by the time the end of this bet happens.
So I did the thing you wanted, but then like
Yeah,
that times
he,
3 or 4 or 5.
He doesn't even, and when he goes to the test, he doesn't even do the silver thing. He just shows like 300.
Like, he hides. He hides his power. That's another thing he does. He hides everything.
Yeah,
It's
so everyone
incredible.
thinks he's way weaker than he is all the time.
But
So then people like they're like, oh, he's a bronze rank. We'll send some silver
To
people.
go mess with him.
And he just kills all 3 of
He
them.
just bodies them, like, viciously. It's hilarious.
And then he's like, look at these people. They're from the Creators Guild. Isn't this guy from the Shin family?
He's trying. Yo, that's another troll he said. No, I think he beat the crap out of him. He, like, puts dirt on himself, and he's like, they're trying to kill me. They're trying to kill me.
Or, like,
Help me.
he'll be-
The Shin family trying to.
Yeah, he'll start a fight. Like, he'll just insult somebody in the street, and then they'll start trying to attack him, and he'll just be dodging and, like, hitting their key points, but, like, making it look like they're hitting him the entire time. And then getting the pity of everyone around. Like,
That sounds incredible.
It's like he's like hundreds of year old dude in the body of a 13-year-old.
Yeah, you guys-
Everyone
You
underestimates.
guys really weren't joking about shameless characters.
no. That is the story of these things. And, like, Taoism is not about good or evil. It is about the actions you take. So, like, these stories are about doing things. It's not about the characters who are a saint. Like, Western stories, your character needs to be a hero, or you're writing like an anti-hero and you're trying to invert the tropes. But, like, this isn't trying to do either of these things. It's just trying to write about a person who, like, most of the time, their motivations are like they care about their friends and family and they want to be strong enough to protect them from anything. But in that journey for strength, they keep pissing off stronger and stronger people.
so they
As you
keep
do.
having to be stronger to protect themselves.
If they would just be like a 10th of a degree less of an asshole, they wouldn't need to be that strong. But
They care so much about their face, which
Yeah.
is just like that is the Chinese mentality.
you're not gonna
of, like,
insult me, and I'm not gonna give you any face. ever.
Being an asshole is just too fun.
Yeah, no, it is.
That.
It's fun. Like when you go and play Mass Effect, you want to play the path where you headbutt the Krogan, or you punch the annoying journalist lady. Like those renegade actions are inherently satisfying.
It's so fun to play. Like being
Now,
a Paragon
hold on,
is
guys.
the best. All right, like you'll do it because you want to be a nice guy, but sometimes you need to punch the reporter in the face.
Even in my Paragon route, I'm gonna punch that reporter in the face.
She deserves it.
Every time.
But like, and that's the characters in these stories, and some of them are ruthless, some of them less so. But like, all of them are willing to be ruthless if that's what it takes.
So, how far have we gone at this point into the story of Tales of
Demons and Gods?
At this point of Tales of Demons and Gods, Nia Lee has ascended to a higher realm.
Yeah.
I won't say who with, and I won't say how.
Good. Leave the listener wanting.
But that's the thing. I will say Tales of Demons and Gods. Currently, there is a translation on Wuxia World.
Yep.
Which is the novel I read, the site I read a lot of my novels on personally.
It also has a super popular manhwa.
Yeah, no, the manhwa is excellent.
It's like think Naruto with like a competent main character.
What is
Korean manga.
There you go.
Yeah,
Thank
Korean
you.
manga. But yeah, no, it's on Wuxia World, and the translation is currently up to date with what has been released by the Chinese author. The only downside for this story, Chinese author, takes a long time between chapters, like sometimes weeks, sometimes a month.
Let's talk about another thing that I feel like is going to come up a lot in these is, what is Wuxia World?
Wuxia World is a site started by a man that goes by the handle Rin Wuxing. He was originally the translator for Coiling Dragon until he finished it, and then he quit his job as an ambassador, a U.S. ambassador, to run this website full time, which he has done and is still translating.
Doing God's work.
Yeah, he is doing a fantastic job. He has an official agreement with Kidian, the site that publishes most of the Chinese web novels officially for the readers. He has an actual agreement to translate with them.
So this is all like legit. Like
Yeah,
you're not pirating
100%.
novels, which is a really weird concept.
authors
most
know
of,
this
most
is
of the
happening.
authors are cool with translators doing it. Like most of especially the good translators, like you'll see like Salvation translations, they'll get deals with the author to translate it so people can read it in other languages.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
a lot
neat.
of the authors are really like. I know the author of Martial God Asura has like legitimately made videos that he then put subtitles on and sent to the translator to share with the American fans.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It was a glorious video. Go on Wuxia World. I'm sure you can find it in the archives.
Yeah, it is on there somewhere. But yeah, I think that's gonna pretty much draw us to a close. I think tonight. We have one bonus segment.
Oh man! Today I get to present to you. Hi, I'm Bill. The segment web novel, or Kamen Rider. It's the segment where I quiz Seth by giving him 4 bullet points and ask him, "Is this a Kamen Rider or a web novel?"
Just in case you're not aware, a Kamen Rider is a guy who rides a motorcycle and is super powerful in a Japanese show for children, and it's very exciting.
The reason it's called Kamen Rider is it's masked rider. They wear a mask in a suit.
It's a motorcycle helmet, like a lot of the time, like all the time.
So, I have bullet number 1. A main character powered by the universe.
I mean, I
Bullet
know.
2.
Bullet 2.
Okay.
Elder to the main character left a spaceship behind from Earth.
That's
Bullet 3 undergoes multiple forms of transformations. Bullet 4 main character treasures friendship.
that.
Generic.
I was gonna say that sounds like at least Kamen Rider 4's, like at minimum that guy.
So, Kamen Rider, final answer.
Is that your final answer?
It certainly sounds like Kamen Rider 4's is a Kamen Rider who, is based out of a space high school and fits some of these things.
Would you
is
like
powered by
to?
the
Does it
universe
fit
and-
all those things though?
Feels like too much like the SATs. I'm not really.
Would you like to phone a friend?
You guys are my friends, and you guys all know the answer, so I feel like that would be cheating. I am gonna go Kamen Rider. Final answer.
I'm sorry, sir, you were wrong. It is the web novel Stellar Transformations.
I knew that, but I wanted to see you squirm.
I was gonna squirm. That was already happening.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming to listen to us. I hope you'll come back. Please review us wherever you're listening to this from. It's very important. And I very much thank you for that.
Yay! Podcasts. It's very exciting.
And please join us next time for Dungeon Defense.
Another thing I don't know anything about.
That one gets led by Richard, our Korean webmaster.
I love Dungeon Defense. And I'll see you guys next week.
Ciao.